Alright guys, so again, my name's Bill Gilbert with BG Entertainment. We own an entertainment and sports marketing company right here in the Hudson Valley. I grew up in this area. I've known Zolzer for many years. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me come here. And guys, thank you for allowing me to speak to you. I'm an Arlington High School graduate. I graduated in 2004. From there, I went to Dutchess Community College. I was there for 2 years, and I graduated with a bachelor's from Pace University. In 2006, I started a DJ company. Much different from what Zolz does. We're on two different plateaus. He's a little bit more formal. I was a bar DJ and club DJ, Sweet 16s, things like that, and we kind of grew within that market. 2011, I did my first ever event. The Renegades were a part of it at Gold's Gym in LaGrangeville. We brought in Steve Smith, the New York Giant. He was a big Super Bowl champion, a big part of that Super Bowl Giant team. I did it more as a marketing thing, trying to get people to come and recognize my company, to book me for DJing, to book me for special events. I had no idea where it was going to take me when I first booked the athlete. We did autograph tickets. I sold a ton of tickets. We made money on the athletes, and that's kind of when that was birthed. We brought in a giant at Christmas time to the Poughkeepsie Galleria, Ahmad Bradshaw. I don't know if you guys are familiar with who he was. He was a running back on the Giants team going back a few years now. We shut down the entire mall. We did 500 tickets. It was great. And now my company is more of a three-headed monster. We have our DJ, we do the sports, and I also have a kids division. We do bounce castles, face painting, all the fun stuff for children. Some of the athletes I worked with, there's a list there, a laundry list. Odell Beckham Jr., we brought him to the Poughkeepsie Galleria for the holiday season a couple of years back. Mike Tyson. We just recently had the Mark Bavaro event. Who was involved with that project? What did you guys think of that? Did you guys look into his career at all? Did you familiarize yourself with him? He's a great athlete, a great person. I want to bring up that event because not everything is always the way you plan. Some things, in business, in life, are unexpected. They come up. This was a perfect example of that. All the Ultimate Fan experiences that I do with Zolzer. Zolzer's our interviewer, our commentator. He speaks to the athletes, he asks them the questions, he really gets in deep to their career, their life, and puts on a great show for the crowd. We did Paul O'Neill, was a sellout. We did Bernie Williams, was a great show. Mike Richter, a great show. Don Mattingly, a great show. Mark Bavaro was supposed to be on that level. He's an athlete that should draw well, that should sell tickets. The state of the NFL at the time with the protesting and everything, the kneeling and the Giants playing poorly, those are things that are out of our control as business people. And it was something we had to deal with. The ticket sales were in the dumps. I was going to lose a ton of money. I called Zolz and I told him, of the situation. He's like, dude, you got to switch the venue. We have a great thing going at the Villa Brigades, is where we host all these Ultimate Fan experiences. He's like, you don't want to ruin that. You don't want to ruin the quality of the event. He's like, change the venue. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I called the Tilted Kilt. It's a restaurant bar that I have a relationship with. They gave me the food for free to help me out. So with that, we saved about $2 grand on the budget. I called Bavaro, the athlete, to let him know the location change. He's like, why are we changing? I told him, what was going on with, our ticket sales were down. He helped me out tremendously. He cut his appearance fee, which we saved like $6 grand on that event by thinking smart, by changing, adapting to things that were out of our control. And I think in business and in life, that is a good lesson because things do happen. You got to roll with the punches. You got to kind of take it as it comes and adapt to it. If not, you fail, like in life. Now, some of the on this paper, there's the strategic partnerships. I just wanted to go through that and explain the importance of each of those to me, my company, and kind of how I leverage those relationships. iHeartMedia, Zolz is a part of that family. That's the radio station. That's 96.1 WRWD. Is it Star 93 now? Star 93. They have helped me, pump the events, get people in the building, get the awareness out. So I linked with them. I give them tickets to give away on the radio ad. We have the radio advertisements. We have a very, very good relationship. The Renegades, Hudson Valley Renegades. We do signings there yearly. We do special events. I do a lot of memorabilia auctions for Zolzer and the Pitch for Kids. So that relationship fits my business. You got to get with people that are already established when you're starting out and kind of piggyback on what they have to offer, and you got to give value to them as well. Poughkeepsie Galleria is obviously the biggest mall in this area. Christmas time, what better gift to give someone you don't know what to buy than an autographed item, for that hard to get person on your list. So those are a few relationships. There's more listed there. I don't want to bore you with that. Does anyone have any questions to this point? Any questions you want to ask about the events, anything like that? You guys don't have to be shy. Nobody?
The quietest they've been in about a month.
Is it?
Oh,
Because they're bored, or is it because they're interested?
True.
All right, so on the bottom, these are a few things that I just want to quickly read to you guys and explain to you what they mean to me. In business, do what you do best and do it better than anyone else. That's something that I live my company through. You deliver the best you can, and you're going to get good in return. So anything we do, the Ultimate Fan Experience, when I put that event on, I want to make sure everyone in the room is having the best time. They're getting what they paid for and more, which also create value, and the money will follow is another thing on there. You got to give people value. Your business partners, your sponsors, your customers, your coworkers, your employees, your competition. You have to all work together, and everything will fall into place. Chase your dreams, do not chase money, I think is very important. In my business, I don't look at my bottom line. Coming up, we did Mike Tyson. I lost $40,000 in one night at that event. That was the best night I've ever had. I learned more than I've ever learned with that event, and it was the biggest loss, but I took it as a college education in one night. I learned everything that I could do differently. I learned what I did well, and I brought Mike Tyson to Hopewell Junction, which is unheard of. So put my company in a different bracket, I think. So I was happy I did that. It was tough losing my life savings that I made with my DJ company. But again, it kind of put things into perspective, how slow it takes to make money, how quickly you could lose it. So I think that was a big turning point in my company. And just the amount of people you bless is how you measure success. I like that line. The people that work with me in my company, I have a kid that I met when I first started my DJ company in 2006. I met him at a Sweet 16, I was the DJ. He's worked with me, he lives with me, he's part of my family. He's worked with me for now 13 years, or 12 years. But he has attached himself to us, and he's like a brother to me. So the people that you bring with you is value in itself for you. That's more than money can buy. So that's something that I feel I hold very highly. And the journey is never complete is the last one on there, meaning you never stop learning. Every event, like with this Bavaro, I have things established. I have a customer base. I have a plan. I have a nice model, an event model that I plug the athletes in and it works. The Bavaro event was a curveball. It wasn't working. It was things that were out of my control, and the journey is never complete. You have to learn. You have to continue to grow each and every day, which is very important. So the Bavaro event, I could take you guys, I guess, through how the events are started and run. I'm hands in, hands on with everything, from contacting the athletes. I draw up the contracts. I negotiate the pricing. I price it based upon, you don't take a deal that you can't make money on, obviously. You have to know what you could sell tickets for. My break-even point on most events is 75 tickets. So I price it knowing if I have 75 people in attendance, I'm going to at least make my money back. On the events where we do 300, 200, you're making decent money there. So I negotiate those terms. I design the flyers. I design the road signs. I hand out the flyers. I hang the posters in local businesses. I put the actual things in the ground. I'm fully involved with each and every step of it. Looking forward, while I'm booking the athlete, I already know what the end product's going to be. I know what the room's going to look like. I know what color the napkins are going to be. My vision is there before it's ever real. So if you believe in what you do, if you could see it in your mind, then you can create it. And my mom told me I was crazy when I lost on Tyson. my family was like, you're nuts, like give up, stop, you're gonna lose everything, how long are you gonna do this, you're working to lose money, you're putting all your time, and I never gave up. I continued to march forward, and I'm not doing well. By no means am I doing well yet. I will, and I know I will in the future, but you gotta stick to your path. You gotta determine what you wanna do, create a plan, and just move towards it, and don't let anyone tell you, that you're crazy, or that you're not going to be able to make it, because if you believe in it and you try and you work and you make each day count, eventually those days are going to add up and you're going to be where you want to be. So that's something that your mental vision is so powerful. I feel, right? Would you agree? If you could see it, you could achieve it. So you want to put your vision, and don't shoot for goals that are low end. I started doing athletes. Like, I don't know if you guys even know these people, like Jim Lairich, Shane Spencer. They're D's, A, B, C, and D. They're D-level athletes. When I started bringing in the A's, that's when I got more people. You gotta get people to care to come. They gotta spend their money. Just because I like Jim Lairich because he hit a home run in '96, and I remember watching him on TV. That's my feelings. And in business too, you have to take your personal feelings out, take yourself out of the equation, and say, what do the people want? So I think that's also pretty important.
Just talk about the inventory and why you get so much signed, even though there's not that many people in the room.
Okay, well, based upon the deals.
Go with Bavaro's, all the stuff he did.
Yeah, Bavaro, like based upon a deal, so let's say, just for Matt's sake, Bavaro's 10,000, right, to book them. 25 an autograph, you get 400 autographs. It's $25 an item. I sell his stuff for $60 an item. So I try to make that 10 grand off the event. Even if I break even, I'm on 80 tickets, I'm taking 320 pieces, signed footballs, signed photos, and I sell them afterwards. So now the money's not up front, it's on the back end. You get it, through doing the auctions, setting up a table at Renegades where I sell stuff. I do a lot with charities. I do a lot of silent auctions. And again, getting back to my point, the Jim Lairich stuff isn't selling at a silent auction, but the Don Mattingly baseballs and bats are. So you book the A athletes, you go for the top, you put yourself out there, it comes back. So the inventory is a big part of what I do. I have a lot of inventory. It's something with Bavaro, this past event, that I learned, and I made new connections because I had to, because the ticket sales weren't there. So I had to find wholesalers, I had to find stores that were willing to buy the product ahead of time, so I can kind of cover my upfront costs in a different, creative way.
Explain what the wholesaler is, what he does.
A wholesaler is, like a store. Like if you go to the mall and there's a memorabilia store, those people will buy 20 items for their inventory to sell in their store. So I sold 250 items on Bavaro and had them signed and had them already sold. So I got them signed and I shipped them out this week. That helped cover my upfront costs. So my profit was the tickets that I sold at that event. Now, I have probably another 150 items that I can sell throughout the year, and then when those wholesalers sell out, they'll call me again and repurchase. So a wholesaler is, someone that sells retail to a customer. I sell to the wholesaler sells retail to the end user. You guys should get that. Any questions?
When you book an athlete, will they try and negotiate with you and raise the price?
Yeah, a lot of the guys, based upon their category, again, A, B, C, and D, there's kind of a pre-understood price structure. Most guys, the A's are between 10 and 20 grand to bring them in. Your D's are whatever you offer them, pretty much. So there is some negotiation. A lot of guys that are retired, this is how they make their money. They do 15 appearances a year, they get 10,000 an appearance, they make 150 grand. They're doing better than most people, working 15 times a year. But there is kind of a set price point, and it's based upon what their aftermarket value is. So if the autograph is worth $75, the athlete wants 30 to sign, because they know their value. That was a good question.
Who's like an A-level athlete?
Who's an A-level?
That you have that you
Odell Beckham Jr. is probably the top athlete we've done as far as popularity currently. Don Mattingly, he's an older guy, but he's very well liked, Yankee captain.
Just so you have perspective, when Mattingly came, we didn't have enough seats in the building to fill. We sold 304 tickets to see Don Mattingly.
There are people standing on top of
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And we sold 100 tickets at $275 each. And we probably could have sold 150 of those, and the other tickets were broken down with less value added on the back end. So there was no money lost on Mattingly, even at $30,000 to walk through the door.
Yeah.
The big shots are the real big shots.
Mike Tyson, I gave 75,000, and we did that same venue that we did Mattingly, and I probably should have never taken that deal, but again, I made the decision with my heart, because I like Mike Tyson. He's someone that I was like, he's a badass, I want to have him, I want to bring him in. And I made a decision with my ego rather than a level-headed business mind.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
care, he got his money.
He didn't care, no. He had a great time. He told me, after the event, Mike Tyson brings me into a bridal suite. The bridal suite is a small room at a catering home. He brings me in this back room off of the grand ballroom, and it's just me and Mike. I was nervous to work with him. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's had interviews where he's threatened to kill people, threatened to rape them, threatened to, he's a very, very scary individual. So he brings me in the back room, he's like, come here. So I follow him into the room. Closes the door, and he's like, I want to thank you for having me. He's got a lisp. He's like, I want to thank you for having me. He's like, wrinkles, I put on beautiful wrinkles.
Luca, thank you for having me, Billy, I had a great time.
He said, a wonderful event. And he must have thought, because I feel like he looked young, he must have thought I was like 17 years old. He's like, someone at your age, he's like, I can't believe that someone at your age was able to put on such a beautiful, well-done event. He's like, I appreciate it. And that to me was worth, that gave me the motivation to continue. At that point when I lost, and I looked at my numbers at the end of the night before speaking to him, I was convinced that I was going to quit. I was done. I lost everything. I went big, and I fell on my face. But speaking to him, then I had another conversation with customers the day after, because when the show's done, the work's not done. That's when the work begins. You got to clean everything up. You got to make sense of all the stuff. You got to go through the inventory, get it all home, pack up your DJ setup that you just want to cry when you're doing it after taking a loss like that. But that was again a turning point in my company. I met 240 people that spent $350 a ticket, so I got a higher class customer out of it that continued to feed my future events. So each event we do, we learn. Even like Paul O'Neill, we did 340 tickets as opposed to 240 we did at Mattingly. That was because the venue was bigger. We switched to Villa Brigades. But that event, everyone thought was great. I saw things that needed change. I saw things that I could critique ourselves and tighten up. In each event, we get better and smoother. And we went from, in Bernie Williams, we had 170 people. He's a comparable athlete to Paul O'Neill. 170 people, I had 20 people on staff. The event was decent, the running of it. Paul O'Neill, 3 months later, was twice the size, 340 people. I only had 12 staff members. But we learned so much from the Bernie Williams event that we applied. And that was one of the smoothest events we've had, I feel.
Except for his wife.
Except for him, yeah. Except for things, again, that are out of my control. His wife was nasty. Any other questions? You guys got good questions? So,
How was Odell when he was there?
Odell was cool. I booked Odell, it was the year of the catch. All right, we booked him before the catch. I booked him just solely, in the collector's world, people get pieces. So a first round draft pick, football, people put each year, they put the new guy on. So that was my thought with booking him. We booked him, not knowing who he was going to become. I booked him for $2,500. I'll tell you guys the prices. Him now is 80 grand to get him in, and he won't even consider it. He might go out, get hung over, not show up. That's kind of how that money back then, $2,500. He was so excited to be there. Now 80 grand, he's kind of like, maybe I won't show up. But he made the catch, and the tickets sold out. I ended up paying him. He was supposed to get $2,500. By the time he signed everything and on the piece deal, he got $17,500. So he got 6 times, 7 times the money he was supposed to get, just because we did 550 public tickets. I was hoping to do 50 tickets. He made the catch, and it blew that up. And I think, I've had a lot of really lucky picks. That was a great pick. Again, that's something that was out of my control that helped. Then Landon Collins, we did last Christmas. I booked him. He wasn't really a big name, because you got to book him in the beginning of the season, so that way you have your 3 months to promote. He ended up becoming, one of the cornerstones of their defense, and of the league. He's one of the best defenders in the league. So that worked out well. We did 350 tickets, but there's Christmases. We did Orleans Darker the year before. I did 70 tickets. because he didn't mature throughout those 3 months, you know, the promo. So it is tricky, but Odell he's a great person. He's a cool kid. He's got a big heart. He's a little misunderstood, I think, and he wears his emotion on his sleeve, which, you know, in time I think he'll be able to fix that, you know, with maturity. And I think this injury too, I spoke to him since that happened. The injury is going to humble him, I think, a little too. He's not superhuman, you know, so.
Don't look at me, I hate the guy.
No, yeah, Soul's always smashing him.
He's a
But
punk.
he's a good guy.
He's a loser.
Yeah.
How did that event set up?
Yeah, Evan Ingram was good. We did 95 tickets, which is above average. You know, typically in an event, like I said, my break even was $75 normally. He did 95 tickets, and it was decent. He wasn't a name. Now he's a little bit. Now that all the guys are out, Shepard was hurt. Odell went down, so Ingram's kind of like that guy. He wasn't that when I booked him. So
It's
again,
like the
that's,
stock market. You're trying to get them.
you want to buy low so you can sell high.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Now I have a lot of inventory, I got a couple hundred pieces. I'm holding even those items. I don't want to just get rid of them now because I think he's gonna be an all-pro. He's gonna be like a Gronkowski, I think. So I'm gonna take a shot and just hold on to his stuff.
With a better book,
Yeah, he's very well spoken. He's very humble. He's a great kid.
How do you like contact these guys? Like, how do you find them?
Networking, and I have a few guys that I call upon that, you know, they're very good at moving through the team. So to give you an example, Steve Smith, I paid an agent fee. That was the first event I ever did in 2011. We gave him $6 grand, and we paid the agent 20%, $1,200, right? So at the event, I made friends with Steve. I talked to him. He linked us with Ahmad Bradshaw, and we networked, you know, with the players. Hey, can you get me this guy? Bradshaw got me Keem Nicks. You know, you kind of move through the team, and they're all buddies in the locker room. They want to help each other. They want to, hey, you want to go make $5 grand and go work with Bill? Yeah, I'll be there. So that's kind of how we did that. The Yankees, you know, Bavaro I booked directly. I had priced him at an agent for $12,000. So I saved $2 grand by getting his contact info and avoiding that fee. I got him directly. But a lot of the guys, you know, it's just networking, and as you grow and meet people, you got to kind of use those relationships and leverage them.
How much would LeBron make you?
LeBron wouldn't do it. LeBron is in the business. There's things called exclusives in the sports the memorabilia world, and that means they can only sign for certain companies. For that, take one particular company. He's with Upper Deck. Michael Jordan's with Upper Deck. Tiger Woods is with Upper Deck. They're like the premier.
We're not like Kobe.
Kobe, he has an exclusive. I'm not sure who he's with, but
The biggest athletes all have exclusives because they're getting guaranteed money every year.
and they don't do
check.
publics. They're not going to sign at the Poughkeepsie Gallery.
They're gonna
All
sit,
with-
they're gonna sit in a room and they lay all their stuff out on the tables and they just move along and sign everything, then they get the big check.
Yeah. But their stuff, like LeBron autographs $1,100. That's what it sells for. So imagine signing 1,000 pieces. That's $1 million in inventory. It's a lot of money. Anybody else?
When you're like negotiating like the money they're gonna get, do you usually let them decide like what they want, or do you just offer?
The first thing, I know what I could sell them for, so I have a price in my mind, a target price. In business, you never want to be the first person to say a price, because then you've lost a step. So, and when I lead my conversation, hey, what would you want for this? Now I know where their head's at, and you work from there. If you're saying, hey, listen, I know I can give them $8 grand and make money. Hey, what do you want for this? Give me 4,000. Now you're 4,000 ahead. So you never want to throw the number out there first. You know, and then they feel like, oh, this guy's nice. He asked me what I want and what I feel I deserve. He's being fair to me. So you could use that. And then if it's way too high, be like, dude, you're crazy. I'm going to get killed with that price. You know, and then you kind of work off that number.
But you also kind of know what athletes are worth before you go in for the conversation.
Right. And they know what they're worth too. But a lot of people, they don't want to come to terms. A lot of these retired guys don't want to come to terms that they're no longer scoring touchdowns, they're no longer hitting home runs. You know, the market's not there for them. So there's some people that are a little tough to deal with when negotiating prices. Good question.
Before you go, got anything on the horizon you want to share with them as an exclusive?
Yeah, sure. I normally do the holiday show in December with the New York Giant. Again, last year we did Collins, we did Odell. I'm not doing a Giant this year. I was going to do Paul Perkins. Nobody even knows who he is. If I would have booked that, that would be an example of the player not maturing through the season. Giants aren't playing well. I want to stay away from the NFL. I feel it's got a negative aura around it. So we're doing a toy drive in the Poughkeepsie Galleria benefiting Jacobi Hospital Pediatric Cancer Unit. We're going to collect toys, bring it down to the kids, and then I'm also going to do a memorabilia blowout sale, try to get rid of a lot of inventory and donate some of the money that's brought in back to that hospital. So that's December 15th, 16th, and 17th in the Poughkeepsie Galleria, the main hallway. And it's not signed up yet, so don't. It's not 100%. But Gary Sanchez of the Yankees, we're looking to do January 20th, the center court of the mall, the Yankee catcher. So
Whose inventory do you have? Like whose memorabilia?
I have everyone, and I can get really a hold of anything.
Do you have any Porzingis and stuff?
Porzingis, I did Porzingis. He's on my list. We did him in White Plains last season. He's huge. There's a picture of me with him. He's like, it looks like a man. Like his belt buckle. But I have stuff on Porzingis. And the Knicks are playing well, so that's good. They're winning.
So now that the money's, the bag's going up. Anybody else?
Are you guys gonna like consider doing more Knicks players since they're doing well?
We did, over the summer, we did John Starks. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Point guard. We did him on the Newburgh waterfront. February, I'm looking to do Oakley, Starks, and LJ together for a dinner. See, like, I already have, like, 10 events that I want to do that I think would do well, but you can't oversaturate the market. I have a hard time, too, of giving myself enough time to let the economy, the market, recuperate their money, because you can't do a $300 event every month and people won't be able to afford it. So I have to be better at pumping the brakes on myself a little bit. But I do have a few Knicks events that I want to get done. Anybody else?
Kind of like what you just said, how do you negotiate between what the athlete wants and what you need to do to create profit for yourself and the business?
Well, that's why I have a model, and it's very, it's something that I used to just look to break even, back a couple of years ago. Now I have to build in a little bit of profit because it's becoming more of a full-time thing.
And
So,
there's another small reason that's important.
and I had a daughter. She's 9 months old, so I'm a lot smarter where I put my money and what.
You would not have done Mike Tyson if you had that daughter.
I wouldn't do it now. But maybe if he's so my price scale was always 100 tickets. And that's how I price it. My cost is $12,000. The tickets are going to be $120 to the customer. I look to do 100. Now I look to do 75 because I still want to hit that 100, but I want that 25 ticket to be pocket profit.
And also understand, when he says break even, he means break even that night. He still has all that merchandise.
Yeah, the inventory.
to sell.
But
If you have
if you
100
book,
pieces of Mark Bavaro signed jerseys, what are they?
they're $100 a piece. I have 85 of them, so it's 8,500. We did very well with them. I have probably 400 items extra that'll sell between 60 and 100.
A golf clap, give him a nice round of applause. If you want a job, call him.
Yeah, no, for real. If you guys have any interest, my email, my Facebook's on the little card. Follow us on Facebook. We're always looking for new hungry people. So
Get that money, Josh.
All right, so we would have presented their thing, but there's not enough time now. But the group who did your thing, the numbers weren't the same, obviously, but they really put together a great program.
Oh,
Yeah, it was based
I
on
would like to see it.
Email me the budget so I can give it, yeah, they're leaving in a matter of seconds.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.